A bounce back on markets this week after a rough start to August. So both Bay and Wall Streets saw the best weekly performances so far this year. The Nasdaq was the best performer, up by about 5%. Not that long ago, we saw the worst performances on Wall Street in about 2 years. Now, helping Wall Street today, shares in H&R Block hit an all-time high. After that company reported earnings, the stock saw its biggest intraday gain since May of 2022, up by more than 15% at one point. So earnings per share did beat expectations. Revenue also came in better than expected, and the revenue was also above last year. The revenue forecast, though, is really what got all the attention. It was also above predictions. Now, Bay Street also got very close to a record high this week for its best week since November. And really the driving force for markets this week, cooling inflation in the U.S., which likely means an interest rate cut next month. Now, we do get Canadian inflation data next Tuesday ahead of our next interest rate announcement on September the 4th. There will be a change at the top at one of Canada's cannabis producers. So Canopy Growth today announcing that the CEO was going to retire. David Klein will step away from the job at the end of the company's fiscal year. That's March of next year. The board is now working to secure a search firm to start the selection process on a new CEO. Now, Klein joined the company in January of 2020, and it recently reported a record quarter for Canadian medical marijuana, with new revenue surging 20% year over year. That was the sixth consecutive quarter of growth. The stock is up by more than 40% this year on Bay Street. And we are likely to know a little more about a potential strike at Air Canada next week. So a strike vote by the airline's 5,500 pilots is due to wrap up next Thursday, and we could see job action as soon as mid-September. The union and the carrier have been in talks for about a year. Private mediation ended in June, and the airline says agreement on several items has been reached in negotiations under the federal government's conciliator. This would be the latest drama in the airline industry in this country this year after Lynx Air shut down and WestJet Airlines canceled flights when mechanics went on strike. In the Business Center, I'm Kris McCusker.